I'm Mary and I am the Sunrise Africa Program Manager. So I manage any country that's in Africa that we're dealing with. We've actually made a decision that we do not allow adoptive parents who adopt through us to adopt out of birth order. So if they are adopting a child, we insist that that child be the youngest child in their family. Because from experience, we've seen that from a couple of couples who adopted a child who was older than their youngest, that those adoptive parents really struggled to bond and attach to that child. It just seemed like human nature to focus their attention on the youngest. And then a year later, down the line, we discovered that in reality, those adoptive parents had not given the time and attention to the child who might have been sort of 6 or 7 years old who had entered the family. They also tended to be very protective of their youngest. So if that child had any behavior issues, they were very sort of critical of the child rather than really understanding where the behavior came from. Also, many children, particularly children adopted from Africa, if they adopted at the age of 6 or 7, have a different concept of play to the concept of play that North American children have, because most of their play is outside physical play. So they are not accustomed to sitting quietly in a corner playing with Lego or solving puzzles. Their play is more rambunctious play because that is the type of play that they engage in the orphanages, where they run around, sort of rough and tumble. And we have found that sometimes the existing children in a family find that quite difficult. They find it quite difficult to adjust to this child who is physically sometimes more advanced than they are because of the amount of physical activity that they have. And sometimes almost steal the limelight from the existing children in the family. There's certainly things we've learned, as adoption workers over the years. One is that, I guess, adoptive parents, come into this office, knowing that they are going to be assessed, they're going to have a home study, and so they sometimes know the type of answers that we would like to receive. Obviously their goal is to create their family, and so sometimes they can preempt the answers that we would like. So it takes time to really help the adoptive parents, be comfortable and be quite honest and open about their feelings about things. An example of that is physical discipline. We do not approve physical discipline of any type. Some adoptive parents might actually believe in physical discipline, but they might be astute enough to know that it is not acceptable in modern parenting practice. It is better for them to acknowledge it, that they don't really see an issue with physical discipline, so that we can actually educate them about that and send them to parenting courses and explain all the ramifications of using physical discipline. So it's better for them to just be open and honest about who they are, what they feel, and if it contradicts what we believe is good parenting practice, then at least we can educate them about it. Well, as an adoptive agency, I think we typically see that parents who are broad-minded, are not rigid, who are open to new ideas, they can have their values and beliefs, but should be flexible enough to incorporate new ideas. Typically, parents who are able to be observant, who have patience, who can also be playful. I think sometimes adoptive parents are a little too serious. It's such a big step, and they've waited so long, and they tend to be a little too intense and serious. Most children are playful and react very positively to playfulness. They can also be corrected in a playful way. They don't always have to have their behavior corrected in a serious manner. it can be corrected in a more playful, light manner as well. But yes, if conscientious people, who have studied parenting, who understand parenting, have read different books on parenting, certainly it helps if they've done some education about parenting.